Who was I am? Faith healer. What was the story with faith healer? Go ahead, Jordan.
He asked people for, he claimed he could heal people, and he asked them for all this money, and they sent him the money, and it turned out it wasn't true, and they're...
Okay, stop right there. You're right. Guy created a church, and he called it the I Am Faith. And when he created this particular church, what he did is he basically said, I am a faith healer. With the laying of the hands, there was a sense that he could throw demons out. There was a sense that he could heal people's afflictions just by prayer, just by a simple laying of the hands. What ended up happening? Well, what ended up happening is he wrote out letters, just like you said, and when he wrote out these letters, he asked for money so that he could share his gift. And indeed, he did get an awful lot of money. And he started to go around the country attempting to heal maybe some of these very people that had sent him money. And it didn't work, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work. So what was the lawsuit?
Try to get their money back.
The people sued because they wanted their money back. What was his argument?
That he believed in his faith and he was practicing it, and it didn't work. Like, oh well, we sent him the money anyway.
If you make me give back the money, this is going to violate my freedom of exercise rights. Because, and basically he said, and the argument, and see, the key thing with this case really was determining what a religion is and what it isn't. How did they figure out if something, or how did they basically put together a test to say, okay, this is a religion, but maybe this other part isn't a religion? What did they use? Because you said it. Truth versus sincerity. What do you mean by that, in either of you?
That they determined if the person sincerely believed it rather than the truth of the religion, because they can't say yours isn't true and yours is.
Religion is not based on things that you can prove. Religion is based on what you believe. And the court basically in this I Am case said, first and foremost, they said, number one, if you actually sincerely believe the faith, even if it's not true, that is going to warrant First Amendment protection. It is going to warrant freedom of exercise protection. And in this regard, did they hold that this guy truly believed what he was practicing? Go ahead.
Yeah.
They did. So what ultimately happened as far as the money and whatnot?
They didn't get it back.
The people did not get it back. They allowed him to practice his faith. They said, it's not our place to say whether or not faith healing is correct or not, or true or not, but what we can do is we can demonstrate that you truly believe this, and as such, since you truly believe it, we're going to allow this religion to be protected. The people did not get their money back. Now, you could probably give me another example of truth versus sincerity, and it might actually deal with drugs. This one was protected, but what's an example of one that maybe wasn't?
The Peyote.
What about the peyote?
The Native Americans were going up to the mountains and smoking the peyote, and the government found out about it, and they there was a lawsuit. They tried to tell them they...
Okay, who were the two Native Americans in particular? They were drug counselors in Oregon. So they were drug counselors, and actually, and you're right with the first part. You're right with the first part. So, number one, maybe you should eat a tuna sandwich when you take the exam tomorrow, because you seem to have pretty good working knowledge of things so far. Okay, number one on this. Number one, there were
Fish
two...
is brain food.
What's that?
Fish is brain food.
Fish is brain food. Okay. You need to be careful. I can still put a tuna sandwich on the exam. Okay, number one. Okay, number one on this. There were two Native Americans that were drug counselors, and they worked in Oregon. They were part of a recognized faith, and as part of the recognized faith, they had been ingesting peyote for its hallucinogenic properties. They'd go up in the hills, they'd look at the sky. It would enhance the natural experience of what their religion was. So this was all legit. But peyote was, and still is, an illegal drug. So basically, these guys that were drug counselors had to submit to regular drug testing, and they failed their drug tests. What did the state of Oregon do? Fired them. What else did they do that led to the lawsuit? They denied them their unemployment benefits because the governor of Oregon basically said, hey, listen, if you can get fired for any number of things, we are not going to pay you to go up there and ingest that damn peyote up in the hills. That's the wrong reason. We're not going to let you milk the system. Okay, what did the drug counselors charge? What was their argument in the case?
Part of their religion.
They said it's part of our religion, and if you deny us unemployment, then basically what are you denying us?
Freedom.
What's that?
That-
You're denying us the ability to freely exercise our chosen faith. Now, I've given you another drug religion, right? Church of Marijuana. What was the story with the Church of Marijuana?
God decided that they could do this with POD.
Did you say God?
The guy.
Oh, the guys. Okay, the guys. Go ahead.
If they could get away with it with he could get away with it with marijuana.
Okay, there was a guy. What did he do?
Actually, he charged people so much money to join his church, and they said they get a certificate, and they would never be charged under marijuana law again.
Basically, the gist of it was he created a church that was based on the use, the distribution, and the selling of marijuana. So basically what they did in this particular church is they basically just said, you know, we want to counteract the drug laws, which is exactly what you just said. And we're going to create a church that makes our religion based on weed. We're going to use it, we're going to sell it, we're going to grow it, we're going to distribute it, all of these things. But the bottom line is that his thought was, if I create a church that protects this, or this is what our beliefs are, then we're going to be protected to do this under the First Amendment so we can legally break the drug laws. Okay, problem. Neil, what's the problem with this?
It's not.
It's illegal.
Okay, it's illegal. That's the first part of it. What's the other problem with this? Go ahead, Ramon.
The sincerity
Go ahead.
of what they're practicing is just to get around the laws.
So you're saying they don't really believe in this as religion.
Right.
This isn't belief so much as it's desperation, you might say. So, did the courts allow the Church of Marijuana?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They basically said, you're just trying to go out there and you're trying to counteract valid drug laws that have nothing to do with religion whatsoever. Marijuana is illegal. We are not going to basically allow this church because it is not a sincere belief. Okay, what's the difference between the Church of Marijuana and the Peyote Native Americans? Go ahead.
They sincerely believe in that religion, and
How can you say that they sincerely believed it? How did they demonstrate?
well, they've been practicing it for hundreds of years.
Okay, they've been practicing this religion since before the country had been around, number one, and since before the drug laws had been around, number two. So this religion's been out there for a while. What else can you tell me that would be an argument that they should be allowed to do this? Anything? Was there any illegal activity in reference to the peyote? Aside from using it, was there anything else?
No.
They weren't selling it. It wasn't like these drug counselors were slipping it to their clients. None of these things were going on. So it stands to reason that the court should allow this, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did the court say?
No.
Court said no. Why? Oh, this is going to be bad on Wednesday. A lot of quiet people today. Why did the court disallow the Peyote Church?
Because
Because
it's
they were drug counselors, right? Was it because it was the fact that they were drug counselors?
Okay.
No?
Something a little more specific. Basically what they said was this is illegal activity. They said we're fighting the war on drugs because this was going on in the Reagan years. This was basically the just say no time. So when you think about it, number one, they said we're fighting a war on drugs. It doesn't matter how little or how big the shipments of peyote are, it's still illegal. And they basically said, you know what, this is a policy that is designed not to hurt somebody's religion. This is a policy designed to enforce basically this drug ban, this secular, non-religious drug ban. So the Supreme Court actually struck down the Native Americans' claim.